Let's go, let's go, let's go, guys. Welcome back to High Top Baseball. Guys, Florida Gators coming off a weekend sweep over Kennesaw State. Some really good baseball, some really good things to talk about. A couple plays that wasn't great, right? So we're going to dive into some teaching moments. I'm going to talk about the really good moments that we did see this weekend, though. Guys, got these new hats right here up on the High Top shop. High Top Baseball, right? That's a CAGS in honor of his bobblehead that came out this weekend. Man, I saw that was popular there at Condren. So exciting stuff, guys. 3 games to get into. We'll dive into some season stats so far, where we're at, what to expect from FIU in these weekday series coming up. So good stuff, man. Let's get into it. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the Friday game. Right, Gators win that Friday game 9-3. We're going to talk through these kind of quickly just because we have 3 games to go through today. So we'll kind of just highlight some stuff. But Gators win 9-3. Right, we out hit Kennesaw State 5-10. 0 errors. Right, really good stuff. Solely saw that Friday night. Just running through the hitting lineup here. Right, 3 for 5 out of Kyle Jones. 3 walks out of Brendan Lawson. Cade Curlin gets that hit by pitch on his forearm, ends up getting him removed from the game. He ended up sitting Saturday out. And then we saw him pitch hit and come in for Colton Schwartz on Sunday. So good to see Cade's doing well, right? Sometimes those things catch you in bad spots and those muscles tighten up. So I'm glad that Sully was a little careful there with Cade, but good to see that he's healthy and back. Carson Bowen, man. We'll dive into the QABs here during the 4th topic, stats there at the bottom. But Carson Bowen's QABs have been absolutely insane this year. He's hitting the ball really well. 1 for 4. Cash Strayer stays hot, right? 2 for 4, 2 total bases and RBI. Man of the night at the plate for the Florida Gators was Ethan Surwick, right? He had those 2 home runs. I know a lot of us were expecting him to hit for power a little more than we saw so far to start the season, man. But I was telling you guys, right, those QABs were there. Maybe not showing up in the box score as much, but he was putting good at bats on, and it finally broke through, man, with those two bombs we saw Ethan hit Friday night. Blake Sear 1 for 4, Jacob Kindle, Colton Schwartz, Sam Miller, right? Bottom of the order didn't hit great Friday night. But we'll scroll down here, right? The talking point of Friday night was Liam Peterson. Man, we talked about it last week. National media, Gator fans. We had people talking about moving him out of the Friday spot. We had people talking about sending him to the bullpen, right? Try to teach him a lesson. Be patient with this guy, man. He is one of the best pitchers in college baseball. We only saw 1 outing out of him. This is baseball, man. It happens. Liam Peterson is all the way back. He had 5 1/3, 1 hit, 12 strikeouts, only walked 2. Right, to start that Friday night game, I know we were all a little scared, right? First pitch, he spikes a fastball like 40 feet, right? Didn't even get to the batter's box. And next thing you know, he's got a 3-0 count on the leadoff hitter. And I know all of us were kind of sitting there, oh, here we go, man. He ends up getting that batter out. I think he struck him out. Second batter comes up, we get another 3-0 count, right? He had 3 3-0 counts in the first 2 innings. None of those 3 batters that saw a 3-0 count saw a base, right? He got all 3 of them out. Really good battling by Liam. And then once he settled in, man, 12 strikeouts on the day. Just absolute nasty stuff. Pretty good outing from Caden McDonald, right? I think I put it up on Twitter. We were up big when he came in. We were up, I think, 8-0 or something, right? Your job there is to just throw strikes. Don't get cute. Don't walk them. Pitch to contact. That's what Caden did, right? And it resulted in a couple hits, resulted in a couple runs, whatever, right? We had a huge lead. Caden's job was to get out there, get outs, fill up the zone, find barrels, right? And no issues there from Caden, right? He did his job. He's going to be an important piece out of this bullpen. And then talking about important pieces out of the bullpen, right? We finally got to see Christian Rodriguez. We hadn't seen him yet. From the UAB series into the Stetson weekday games, right? We hadn't seen C-Rod yet. And C-Rod is going to be an important piece out of this bullpen. I expect him to be an early arm once these conference games come around. So he looked good. He looked really good. That changeup is absolutely nasty. When he's spotting his fastballs and spotting his changeups, man, he's a really hard pitcher to hit. And he came in through a really solid inning, right? 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Really good stuff there. And then like we talked about with the fielding, 0 errors on that Friday night game. And with those zero errors, right, I know we talked during those weekday games about those pop-ups that we saw at Stetson. So just wanted to bring this up real quick, right? I think it was top of the 3rd inning, right? We saw it was a righty up. We saw a little flare out over the shortstop. And what I love to see here, man, is you can see that left picture, right? Sierra's playing pretty deep. That was what we talked about during those Stetson games. Lawson, I think they had those conversations. You can see Brendan Lawson. He puts his head down. He hustles out there. He thinks that's his ball until it's not. In that right picture, right, you can see how deep he is into the outfield. He did a really good job there. Ultimately, Sear calls him off, and he peels out. But just really good improvements based on those pop-up little issues we saw during the weekday game. So definitely wanted to highlight that from this game. All right, so diving into some advanced metrics from that Friday night game. You can see here, right, QAB's 700, really, really elite stuff. The bats were great all weekend. It's like we've talked about. The bats have been great all season so far. 5 for 8, first man on offense. Another stat that we did really well with this weekend was getting that first man on in an inning. Kyle Jones, just to start games, man, I think it was like 6 for 7. Now, I mean, he's just getting on base all the time. Really good to see him. Quality start, no, again, right? This is going to go back to that 5-inning versus 6-inning quality start, man. I think Liam gets one here. 5 1/3, no earned runs, 12 strikeouts, man. It's hard to say no to that. So, unfortunately, man, I think we're going to keep it at 6. It stinks, man. Well, we're going to go through this season, see how many 6 innings we get. But Aiden's given us one, right? So Aiden gave us one last weekend. So really good stuff out of Liam, right? That no doesn't mean no. He did a great job. Everything you could have wanted out of him. First man on defense, 1 for 9. Really good stuff. We're getting the leadoff hitters out. That's going to lower that statistical chance of them to score runs. That's all you want to see there. And then freebies, right? We had 2 walks, no errors. Whereas Kennesaw State, right, 7 walks, a hit by pitch, an error, a wild pitch, right, 10-2. We win the freebie battle, we win the game. Metric holds true. So game ball, right? We're going to give away those game balls from that Friday night game. Good win by the Gators, right? We're going to give 2 away from this game, right? It's hard not to give Liam Peterson one after a 12 strikeout performance. It's impossible not to give Ethan Surwick one after a 2 home run day at the plate. So really good stuff out of Ethan Surwick, out of Liam Peterson, man. Congratulations, guys. Game balls go to y'all for Friday. And then just diving into Sully's post-game comments, right, on Liam. He was outstanding, like we talked about, right? Rebounded from last week, composed, limited the free passes, pitched his game, right? Battled at the plate. Ethan Surwick, the 2 big home runs. Just a really good day across the board from this Gator team. C-Rod, finally get to see him. He's going to be a big part out of our pen. That nasty changeup like we talked about. Kyle Jones always gets us going early, right? It's a common thing so far this season from Kyle. And even Sully here, right? So many quality at-bats. Sully gets it, right? Those advanced metrics matter. They don't always show up on the box score. For Kyle, they have showed up on the box score so far this year, though. Really good stuff, man, starting at the top of the order for us. Sully talking about that Friday night game, right? He knows how good of a ball club Kennesaw State is. So he knew he didn't want to downplay these guys going into Saturday and Sunday, and clearly the boys did it, right, now that we're talking Monday morning. So then a lot of lineup flexibility, right? We got a couple different guys that are able to start across the board. You're able to kind of deal with those injuries from Kurland on that hit by pitch. So good to see, right? You kind of want to get these guys reps early on in case you're going to need them later on in the season. So really, really solid Friday game out of the boys. All righty, so let's jump over to Saturday. Saturday was another good one, right? Another 7-inning run rule for the boys. 11-0 game, right? You see the no errors, right? We out hit them 16-5. And just a really good day across the board. Kyle Jones, 3 for 4. Carson Bowen, 2 for 3. Strayer, 2 for 4. Surwick, 2 for 3. Sam Miller and Colton Schwartz, both 2 for 4, right? Not necessarily a huge game out of anyone, just kind of a really good hitting day across the board. You love to see it, right? No deep flies, kind of RBIs spread out across that order. This was just a really top to bottom, 1 through 9, really good day of hitting for this Gator baseball lineup. And scrolling down to pitching, right? We get another quality start out of Aiden King, man. This is his 2nd of the year. It's our only 2 from the pitching staff. Aiden goes 6 innings, 5 hits, no earned runs, struck out 5. And then you see Sanford come in, man. He's been pitching really well. 1 inning pitched, 1 strikeout, right? No hits. The boys, 0 walks on the day. And then you scroll down to fielding, right? 0 walks on the day, 0 errors on the day. So really good stuff, man. We have the bats in this lineup to put runs up. So when the pitching and the defense is doing their job, it's everything you could want. It's going to win you ball games. And it just really good stuff. Good to see us kind of cleaning things up. So just box score looking right here for the Saturday game, man. Really good stuff. Then we'll jump over into some advanced metrics. right? 632, another elite day at the plate for the quality at bats. 5 for 6, first man on offense, man, 833. That's insane. That's going to win you ball games every time. Quality start. We get number 2 on the season. Both Aiden Kings, right? Both Saturday performances out of him. 6-inning pitch, no earned runs. This kid, man, I mean, after the freshman season he had last year, I think if you had to be a betting man, maybe not as a Gator fan, maybe national media, if you had to bet, right, you'd maybe expect him to take a step back or not take that step forward that a lot of people were expecting. This kid's doing it. This kid is everything we saw out of him last year, taking that next step to be that Saturday guy we need. If Liam can pitch like he did on Friday, you have King pitching like he did on Saturday, we'll figure Sunday, right? I'm confident in Cooper Walls, but we'll figure that Sunday spot out. This lineup's top to bottom, going to get you runs, man. This team is kind of shaping up to be everything we wanted out of it. So really exciting stuff there. First man on defense, 2 for 7. That's winning baseball, especially when we're 5 for 6. And then 0 freebies out of our boys, right? And then Kennesaw State had 8. 2 walks, 2 hit by pitch, 2 error, 2 wild pitch, 0 to 8 on the freebie ward. Freebie battle, we win the battle, we win the game. That I believe is 7 for 7 on if we win the freebie battle, we win the game. So again, the metrics hold true, man. And then we'll dive over into Sully's post-game comments. And it's like we're talking about, right? When you don't make errors, when you don't walk people, you got a really good chance to win that game. You're going to win that game, right? Production up and down the lineup, not necessarily a single guy standing out in this one, right? It was 1 through 9, everyone doing their jobs. Aiden King, man, fastball, another gear for that fastball. Best he's looked in those later innings since he's been here, right? So I even love how Sully, you see a back-to-back 6-inning kind of shutout performances out of Aiden. It's easy to kind of hype him up. Let's find those little wins based on kind of last year or last game even, right? He's looking better in the later innings, right? He's still dominant, but we're seeing more out of him in that 4th, 5th, 6th inning than we even saw in the past. So just continuing to take that next step forward as the sophomore, man. We're trusting him. He's not going to beat himself. Really good stuff there. And then on tomorrow's game, right, Sully just continuing to hype up this Kennesaw State team. Don't take them for granted, right? We've already won the series. Let's go ahead and take care of business on Sunday. He knows this is a good ball club. And again, right, we saw that the boys went out there and took care of business. And I think this is an easy one, man. We're trying to kind of share the love on these game balls, right? But we're going to go ahead and give Aiden King his 2nd of the season, right? 6 innings pitched, no earned runs, just the performance he's been putting out there, man. Aiden King gets the game ball from that Saturday win, man. Let's go. Keep it up, man. You're absolutely killing it. It's really fun to watch. All righty, so let's jump over to game 3 of the weekend, that Sunday game. Go ahead and pull these box scores up. A little bit of a sloppy one here, right? I think I saw some people online comparing this one to that game 1 Friday versus UAB. Sloppy in the field, sloppy kind of at the plate, right? We got out-hit. Kennesaw out-hit us 10-9. We had 3 errors compared to their 1. Still pulled it off, 12-9. We'll go through freebies and advanced metrics here in a minute. But just kind of scrolling down to the order here. So not the best day top to bottom. All right, we scored runs. We did our job here. 1 for 2 from Kyle Jones, 2 walks, 2 ribbies. 1 for 3 from Brendan Lawson, right? Also 2 walks. Carson Bowen, 1 for 4. Cash Strayer, a little kind of back to earth here, 0 for 3, at least in the box score. We'll talk QABs in a little bit. Ethan Serwick stays hot, man. This is exciting to see. I think we all expect a little more out of him to start the season, right? We've kept saying quality at bats are there. So it seems like it's kind of breaking open and starting to produce some results here for Ethan Serwick. 2 for 5, 4 total ribbies here. Blake Sear, 1 for 3. He had a good double in that game. Cole Stanford, 2 for 4. Really good to see him hitting well. Not only hitting well, right? He had, did I write it down? Top of the 7th. He had a dirt ball that he saved with, I believe, runners on 2nd and 3rd. And I mean, this was one that got spiked way out to his right in the zone, man. He kept it in front of him. Definitely would have resulted in runs. Could have then set up maybe that next run to be scored a little easier. So really good stuff behind the plate from Cole Stanford as well. Not the best day from Sam Miller at the plate. And then we had Colton Schwartz. Interesting about this game, right? We saw a safety squeeze, I believe is what they were calling. It was 1st and 3rd. I believe there was only 1 out, which is right. 1st and 3rd with 1 out is a time when you would call a safety squeeze. We saw Colton Schwartz square around twice. Didn't end up putting it down. I think he ended up striking out or something. He got 2 strikes on him. They must have wiped the play off. But kind of cool to see how Sully wants to implement some small ball. A safety squeeze with first and third one out is exactly what you want, right? Because even worst case, you get that guy on first to circle around, end up on third is kind of the idea there. We saw a sack bunt by Sam Miller, at least an attempt at one, in the bottom of the sixth. So Sully's definitely looking to play some small ball, which was cool to see. Scroll down here to pitching. Not the best day from Cooper Walls, right? He went 4, gave up 3 in that first inning, kind of settled down a little bit remainder. 5 hits, 4 earned runs, a walk and a strikeout. Ernesto Lugo Canchola, man, he finally loses that streak he was on of just retiring batters nonstop. Still hasn't given up a hit, but walked a couple batters in this one. Ricky Reith, not the best day out of him, right? He had a quick little outing. Barberry, right? I saw Sully mention that we brought Barberry in there because he felt like it was a turning point in the game. I believe it was 5-5 at that point. Bases were loaded, or they had a lot of men on. And he came in and just shoved, right, and went 2 1/3, 2 hits, no earned runs, absolutely doing his job there. And a cool little moment there where you can bring your closer in the 5th inning, and it not necessarily be a save situation, but in that scenario, right, I think it was a save situation from the game because, all right, 5-5, we didn't let them score any more runs. Our bats came out and put some runs up. So absolutely the turning point in the game. Good to see Jackson Barberry throwing so well. Again, not the best day out of Billy Barlow. And Sanford, right, comes in and slams the door at the end there with the big lead. But not the best day out of the bullpen. Right, I think Barberry pitched well. Conchola pitched pretty well. Definitely could do a little bit better there. Scrolling down to fielding. This is one where we're going to talk about the errors, right? We had 3 errors on this day. 2 of them from Brendan Lawson. And again, it's something we've been harping on. Brendan Lawson's glove, proving that he can play shortstop, is a huge piece to the ceiling of this team. If we can keep him at short, it allows us to be flexible with who plays third, who plays first, right? We're not having to shove Lawson into one of those spots. If we're going to have to play a Sam Miller or a Colt Myers at that shortstop position, right, your bats are going to take a drop down, even if it's just a little bit, right? You're not reaching that ceiling that you want out of this team. So Brendan Lawson proving he can play shortstop gives us that flexibility to play people at the corners, play the guys that are hitting well at the corners. Not the best day at shortstop out of Brendan Lawson on Sunday. He had the throwing error early on in the game, right? Sailed one up towards the dugout. But let's talk about this second error that he got in the top of the 9th inning, right? And we're going to dive into a little bit. I always am looking for teaching moments like this just to kind of talk through some plays. I played second a majority of my life, so I'm always looking at the middle infield through a little tougher microscope. So this is the play, top of the 9th, right? You can see Gators are up 7, men on the corner, no outs. Ground ball to Brendan Lawson's right side, right? So he's going to his backhand. Pretty good speed at the plate. So as a second baseman here, your first thought is let's get an out. We're not going to be able to turn a double play, right? How this play was set up, we were not going to turn a double play on this guy at the plate right here. The issue here comes in on Cade Curlin's side. So you can see, right, Lawson makes a good play. He's turning and throwing off his back foot. Cade Curlin here is set up at second base like he's going to turn this double play. In our heads as a second baseman, man, you need to understand here, hey, we're up 7. Let's get the out here. There's no chance we're turning this double play anyway. Cade Curlin needs to come through this bag, right foot on the bag, right, stretch out like he's playing first, right? Go get that ball. Make it easy on Lawson. He's throwing off his back foot as he's going to his right. Let's come through the bag. Let's stretch and let's receive this ball as a first baseman. Instead, right, Cade's kind of sitting here looking to turn the double play. The throw's a little to his left, right? It hit his glove even. So it's a tough error on Lawson, but it is an error, right? It's a throwing error. But I think Cade could have helped him a little more in this situation. You come through the bag, you stretch. That's an easier catch because you're stretched out. You're not here receiving it as a double play. So just a situation here where I think let's go ahead and take our out, right? The second that ball gets hit into that 5.5 hole to Lawson's right, mentally we need to click, hey, we're not turning 2 here. Let's just go ahead and get our out at second. So just a little learning lesson here, right? I know that as a second baseman, we like to turn double plays, man. And who knows if that hitter didn't get out of the box hard, right? Cade might have been able to turn it on him, but just situational here, right? We're up 7. Let's not get another error onto our shortstop as he's kind of under a microscope to make sure he's playing that position well. Just I think a little correction error we could have done here by Cade. All right, so let's dive into the advanced metrics from Sunday. QAB 705, really, really elite stuff. When that number jumped out, I thought, hey, maybe, right, I'm using Chat GPT. I had it kind of build me an app that I kind of gave it the requirements for what QABs are. I send it a play-by-play, and it pumps it out. And I saw that 705 and said, I need to go take a look at that and make sure there's no errors in this coding. And there wasn't. Right, we had a lot of strikeouts on 6-7 pitch at bats. A lot of just maybe ground outs or something. These guys are seeing pitches, right? The second you get to a 6 pitch at bat, you're kind of looking at a full count. You're working the count on the opposing pitcher. Those become QABs, right? They don't necessarily become results in the box score, but hey, the boys are putting good at bats on. 705 is really, really solid. First man out on offense, 5 for 8, 625. Again, a really good weekend, 3 games for our first man on offense. We're getting that leadoff hitter on. And then flip here. Kennesaw State did a really good job today, 5 for 9. Right, we beat them on that first man on, but they had a good day as well. 556 is really, really good there. Quality start, no from Cooper Walls, right? He gave us 4 innings, 4 earned. So no quality start there. And the freebies. This is the first time where we've seen that we haven't either won or lost a freebie battle, right? This is a freebie tie. Both teams walked a ton. Both teams hit batters. Both teams made errors. Both teams were throwing the ball around with wild pitches. It was a sloppy game on Sunday. 14-14 in the freebie battle, so we didn't win it. We didn't lose it. Luckily, our bats kind of picked us up. So once again, right, if you're competitive in the freebie battle, you're going to give yourself a chance to win ball games, which is what we did on Sunday, right? A little sloppy, definitely some things to clean up, but a good 12-9 win out of the boys. All right, now we'll dive into Sully's post-game comments, right? On Cooper Walls, fell behind in the count in that first inning, right? First pitch strikes are important. If you're getting behind in counts to these hitters, man, they're too good to know that a fastball's coming, and they hit them around a little bit. On the offense, right, we battled. It's like what I was saying, right? Maybe not showing up on the box scores. Maybe they are ground outs or strikeouts, but you're seeing 6-7 pitches, man. That's battling. That's quality at bats. And then defensively, right, it was a really windy game. You could see that flag whipping all day on TV. Really tough to play in the wind. Definitely played a factor on both sides, like we said, with all the errors we saw. Jackson Barberry, right, he's our closer. And when he came into that game, the game was on the line there. He did the job for us. Hey, Jackson Barberry is going to get our game ball from that Sunday, right? He came in a really tough spot, bases loaded, came in, did his job, ended up giving us a really solid couple innings as well, man. Jackson Barberry, definitely the turning point in that game on Sunday. Well done, kid. Ethan Surwick, 2 really big hits, the double, the single, 5 RBIs, man. He had a really good weekend at the plate. Really, really good stuff to see out of Ethan Surwick. And then, right, games like this, you're going to see guys out of the pen this upcoming week, which is exciting to see. I'm sure we'll see a Kurland or a Rivers Kurland or a couple of these other young guys that we haven't really gotten to see yet this year. That pitching staff, I think, in the pen is pretty deep. So I'm excited to see how these guys are going to pitch against FIU. But overall, right, sloppy game. First time we've kind of seen that sloppiness since that game 1 versus UAB. Difference here is we were able to turn it around and pull it out. So it's baseball, man. It happens. And then we'll jump over to some other comments, right? So Cam Parker, our guy here, asked Kevin O'Sullivan for an update on McNeely, right? We hadn't seen Luke in that first weekend. We saw him for a little bit, that controlled start on Wednesday. Seems like his arm's bothering him a little bit, right? Nothing serious. We're not taking any chances. Well, we got lots and lots of SEC ball to play. We've got 50 or so games remaining in this season, man. No reason to rush him back, especially with the depth we have in that rotation. But they're hoping to get him and Russell Sandifer. Remember, he got pulled in a previous game last week, and he was like kind of stretching that shoulder out a little bit in the dugout. And Sully's expecting to get both of them back for Miami, hopefully. Those are 2 really big arms for us coming into the year, so we definitely need to get those guys healthy and get them back. All right, so let's dive into some like QABs. We'll talk stats for the whole season, but we'll start with the weekend here, right? So game 6, quality at bats, right? Just really good day. Friday night, Kyle Jones, Cade Kurland, right? Blake Sear, Cash Strayer, Ethan. So I mean, you can see there, right? Pretty much everyone over. I think Sam Miller is the only one under 500. Just really, really good stuff Colt Myers 2 for 2, Jacob Kindle 2 for 3, Colton Schwartz 1 for 1. Right, some of these guys that maybe didn't show up in the box score as much, just putting really good at bats on, really quality at bats. Game 7 right here. Carson Bowen 4 for 4. We'll talk about him in a minute when we go over to the season total, but he's been having an absolute year in quality at bats at the plate. Blake Sear, Ethan Serwick, Kyle Jones, right? Jacob Kindle 2 for 3. So a bunch of kids having some really good at bats. Even like Cash Strayer, Colton Schwartz, Sam Miller, both all 2 for 4. Yosti comes back in and gets a 1 for 1. So really exciting stuff there. And then we'll jump over to the Sunday game, the final one. Right, only a couple guys even under that 500 mark. Maybe only one guy under that 500 mark. Right, Sam Miller, the only one with 2 for 5, but you had Colton Schwartz go 1 for 2. Everyone else in the 600, 800, and then Bowen 5 for 5. I mean, between Saturday and Sunday, right? He's 9 for 9 in quality at bats. That's absolutely insane at the plate. Everything you want out of a college baseball hitter. And then we'll dive over here. This is on the season. Total quality at bats on the season. Brendan Lawson continues to lead the way with the 25 total, 676. Kyle Jones right behind him, 622, 23 total quality at bats. But if we're going to sort on percentage here, right? Bowen's not playing every game just because he's a catcher, right? It's hard to play all 3 games on a weekend, the doubleheader we saw last week. So doesn't have as many quality at bats, only a couple behind those 3 guys ahead of him. But he's 778 on the season. Remember, over 500 is above average. Over 600 is absolutely elite. I don't know what you're going to call over 778. I mean, that's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane at bats. And it's going to result in some really positive box scores, which we've seen from him. So really good stuff out of Carson Bowen. Ethan Serwick, Strayer, Curlin, Kindle. I mean, all these guys, right, are just above average to elite at the plate. I mean, we've seen that so far, right? The bats really haven't let us down yet. They've won us ball games. So really good stuff to see here out of the hitting order for our Florida Gators. All right, and continuing on with these season stats, right, we're over on the Florida Gator baseball page. These are our season stats through the weekend. So you can see, man, Kyle Jones is hitting 500 from a leadoff spot. I mean, the kid is best leadoff hitter in the country until proven otherwise. That kid's absolutely hitting this year. Cash Strayer, Brennan Lawson, Blake Sear, all 400 plus. Really good stuff there. OPS, right, on base plus slugging, Brendan Lawson 1.455. I mean, one of the best hitters in college baseball. Slugging percentage, he's leading the team as well with 833, right, leading the team in OBP on base percentage with 622. Just really solid stuff out of one of the best hitters in college baseball. And then our home runs, right, Blake Sear continues to lead the way with 3. Not a big home run hitting team. We talked about it last week. We have 1 through 9 guys that can hit home runs, right? We saw Sam Miller park one last week. I mean, 1 through 9, we got guys that can hit home runs, but they're not guys that are relying on home runs, right? To pick a name, right? Maybe like a Brody Donay. You're not going to have a guy that's hitting low average but making up for it with big flies, right? All these guys are going to hit for average, and they're going to run into some balls every now and then that end up being home runs. But this is not a team that's going to rely on home runs, which is really good to see. I think that's an exciting thing. As a head coach, right? You don't want to rely on home runs. That'll make or break you in the postseason, right? You want to put good at bats on. You want to hit gaps, doubles, triples, extra base hits, and then every now and then you run into one and you see it leave the yard, which we've actually seen a good amount of home runs this year. Was it 14 total on the year with Blake Sear leading the way with 3. All right, so that'll do it for our weekend stats. Let's jump over to upcoming games, right? We have Tuesday and Wednesday matchups. Against FIU. That's going to be back in Condren. FIU, right? Let's dive into them just real quick. Conference USA baseball, right? They were projected to finish 8th out of the 12 teams in the Conference USA. Not very good, right? That's not a very good finish in the Conference USA, especially when you're having to come into Gainesville. They had 2 players named to the preseason All-Conference USA team, both outfielders, Cole Cleveland and Andrew Ildefonso. I don't know if I said that right, but 2 outfielders, both named to the preseason All-Conference USA team. So pretty interesting for a team that's projected to finish 8th, right? I think those 2 bats are going to be pretty big for them. So pretty quick guys that you can kind of identify, hey, don't let them beat us. We should be able to take care of business and win these ball games. And then a pitcher, Bryce Turner, right-handed pitcher. He was named to the 2026 NCBWA Stopper of the Year preseason watch list, right? We saw that a little bit with the reliever from Kennesaw State, also named to that award watch list. So expect to see Bryce Turner kind of out of the pen in high leverage moments. They lost their opener to Villanova 4-7. Then they came back and won that Saturday-Sunday spot to take the series with Villanova. They traveled up to Bethune-Cookman, beat them 12-5 in a weekday game. Then they had 4 against Holy Cross and took 3 out of the 4 there. That's an interesting little thing. I guess doubleheader there on Saturday. So far 6-2 heading into the season, right? They're so far this season 5-2 at home, 1-0 on the road, right? That Bethune-Cookman game, their only road game. So we're going to get to see them 2 more games on the road this week at Condren. Batting average, right? They're hitting 254. Not very good, right? They're putting runs up. So interesting there, but 254 average batting average, 1 1/4 home runs per game, 2 doubles per game, half a triple per game. They're scoring 8.3 runs per game, stealing just under a bag a game with the average ERA of 4. Definitely a team, right? We've said it, and I think we're going to say it until conference play starts, or I guess looking at our schedule, maybe probably Miami. These are teams we should be taking care of, right? If we play our baseball, we don't walk batters, we don't make errors. Our bats continue to hit like we're seeing them hit. These are games where we should just take care of. We should roll some of these teams until we see. I think Miami's going to be our first real test. Right, they have a guy hitting 1,000. He probably doesn't meet minimums to even qualify for this. So, not really going to talk too much about it there. They got a guy that already has 4 home runs. A guy with 4 stolen bases, right? That Luca Reyes has 17 RBIs. Jordan Vargas leading their team in 8.2 innings pitched per game. So, right, it's FIU. You're coming into Gainesville. We should take care of this team. So, Tuesday, Wednesday this week, right? We're going to see some younger guys. I think Sully let us know that we're going to see some new arms out of the pen. He's going to kind of try to work with some things. So, right, you never know how that could look. That could get either a little ugly. We could see some arms that, hey, maybe earn some trust and earn some bigger roles moving forward. So these are just all these games, man, are just us figuring out lineups, right? We're trying to figure out if Brennan Lawson's glove is going to win us ball games at shortstop. We're trying to figure out if Brennan Lawson's glove isn't gonna hold up at short, who's going to play there, right? Sam Miller, Colt Myers, Colton Schwartz, right? Who of these guys is going to have the best bat that we can trust to throw in there, right? They're going to be there for their defensive prowess, but who's going to have the best bat to kind of earn that spot there if we do have to move some things around? So, and again, right, arms out of the bullpen. Who's going to be our early arms out of the pen? Who are guys that we can trust? Do we have lefties behind Ernesto that we can trust? These are all real, like, kind of learning lessons for Sully, learning before we get to those conference games or like a Miami weekend series when these things are going to get a little tougher. All right, we're all just kind of like trying to identify and analyze what we've got and what we're going to be able to use moving forward. All righty, guys. So we've got 2 weekday games this week versus FIU. I'll probably do a video Thursday highlighting those 2 games. We'll kind of dive through it like we always do. Then we'll talk Miami, right? We got Miami this weekend coming up. That's going to be our first real test of this baseball season, man. It's a good ball club down there. So exciting stuff there, man. Hey, Hightop baseball hats are out, right? These are the CAGs outlines. Really good stuff, man. Go over there, check those out. Make sure you're subscribed, right, to Hightop baseball, guys. I love communicating with you guys. So make sure you subscribe, hit that bell so that you know when I post a new video. Really appreciate the support, guys. Really good stuff. Solid ball club so far. Really good things to talk about. Always some learning lessons that we can talk about early on in the season here. But I'm liking what we're seeing, man. If we get Liam, we get Aiden, continue to roll, we can turn those Sunday games into bullpen games, right? We have enough arms out of the bullpen there to win games like that. So pitching continues to step up, hitting continues to hit like we know it can. It's a good ball club, and we're about to see some real tests coming up. So really exciting stuff, man. I appreciate you guys as always. God bless and go Gators.